Tonight at 11, a holiday celebration at the Thirsty Turtle Club turned into a deadly scene outside just after the club closed. A presidential pardon for Michael Flynn, the president granting a full pardon to his former national security advisor. Then after 13 years in office, Macon-Bibb County Mayor Robert Rickard will finish his final term. Now, 500 meals gone in less than an hour at a Thanksgiving drive-through event. Macon law firm Forrest B. Johnson & Associates joined with S&S Cafeteria to give back this holiday. Bibb County Sheriff Davis suspended alcohol sales at the Thirsty Turtle immediately. The alcohol license can be revoked for up to 90 days. Sheriff Davis says his office will, quote, conduct a review of the activities related to operations of the business. And in hopes of returning to normal, we are learning more details about the latest group of Georgians who will soon be eligible to receive the COVID-19 vaccine. Medical professionals say chemical burns usually start out as an accident. They say they're tired of poor work conditions at slaughterhouses all over the country. Remember this?
Where's my money?
What about this?
You get hung up on.
Both claim they're falling on hard times because the Georgia Department of Labor is not answering their claims. Whether it be golf clubs for dad or a gift card for mom, NWA officials took me underground to see some of the current damage.
Bottom flow line where the water rolls is rusted away.
Voters in District 5 are scratching their heads after they say they received this absentee ballot. Now, what's so confusing is that voters are saying the mayoral race was on there and not the race for their district. A Dublin neighborhood celebrating President's Day with flags standing tall. Hopefully, within the next couple of years, these locks will be broken and this parking lot full. I even went inside just to see how bad the damage was.
That's the pot where I used to cook the souse meat and the skins, and that's the room where I used to make the sausages.
Not only the department, I also caught up with a few residents who say they haven't done anything different from months past. Local farmers here in Georgia have their fingers crossed in hopes that House Bill 545 passes. If it does, farms and legacies will be protected.
I cried. I was very tearful. I cried, yes.
Arthur Massey says he fell asleep on his back porch, and when he awoke around 4:30 this morning, there was nearly 6 inches of water in his home.
Things were plugged up, and I even unplugged things thinking this isn't a smart thing to do, but I was thinking safety.
Elizabeth Morton says she and her husband evacuated around that time.
The water came right in, all through the house, through the front, through the back, everywhere.
This backyard here on Leisure Lake Drive is usually a beautiful landscape for a family to enjoy. But Morton says after this morning, her property is now a part of the lake.
Trash, tree limbs, anything you can think of.
According to Houston County EMA Director Christopher Stoner, the floodgates from the Leisure Lake Dam were open.
Unfortunately, just the amount of water that we had this morning was too much for that to handle as far as discharging,
causing a massive flood and property damage. According to Stoner, the Red Cross provided help to those in need. The director says there are no injuries reported, but as a reminder, people should not walk or drive through flooded areas.
Caused the vehicle to stall out in the middle of the water. Those drivers were able to self-rescue and walk to safety.
Both Massey and Morton have lived in their homes for less than a year and say they do not have renter's insurance. The neighbors say all they can do is start over where they left off. In Warner Robins, Jatrissa Wooten, 41 NBC News.
I was just...
Alexis Sanders speechless, trying to find the right words.
I was shocked for one, because I know everybody got to die, but I was like, not my daddy.
45-year-old Michael Whitaker Jr. gunned down Monday night on Concord Street. The news spread like wildfire.
I was at work and I was very devastated and hot-headed.
Shantiqua Whitaker says she found out about her father from someone else who found out on Facebook. Deputies say Whitaker Jr. died from multiple gunshot wounds.
Maybe I should have called him last week or Saturday. Maybe I should have said I love you. Maybe I should, just see how he was.
Deputies say right now they're looking for witnesses and evidence.
So I just really hope they go ahead and find the guy.
The women say their father was no angel, But he was a good man.
In my eyes, he was my superhero. He was, he was like a god.
And loved by many.
I'ma just say he brought the whole city out. Like, Daddy knew everybody, and everybody know Daddy.
The women say now that their dad is gone, they must live on and continue his legacy.
I had my moments. Last night I cried, I rolled, but once again, I can't stop my life just because he passed on. I gotta move on. Not move on from him, but move on, be great.
In Macon, Jatrissa Wooten, 41 NBC News. Team J-Stars takes off in their Joint Stars aircraft on a training mission where the crew is trained on operations of combat. Now, what's interesting about this flight crew is that it's made up of all black men and women, and guess who's in charge of flying? A woman. You're in charge of everyone's life right now.
Yes.
You're not scared.
No. That's where I live.
Captain Andrea Lewis, the first black female pilot of the Georgia Air National Guard in 2019, says from a young age she knew she wanted to fly. Lewis was a flight attendant, went to flight school, and now is the co-pilot for Team J-Stars.
We are out here. We can do this, and along with the rest of my crew, that you can do anything that you set your mind to.
Team J-Stars normally includes about 15 to 20 airmen and soldiers made up of Georgia International Guardmen, the active duty Air Force, and Army aviators. Project Officer Dewey McCrae says to see so much unity is a dream come true.
To be able to take this crew and put everyone together and know the type of leadership, experience that are going into the crew, it means a lot. It just happens to be a perk that we all look like each other.
Which is most difficult, says Lewis. She says being black and a woman in a pilot position is unheard of, but says she must carry on the legacy of the Tuskegee Airmen and her late father.
My dad was a captain for a major airline, and so I'm actually here today because of him. So I guess I didn't think about that until now.
Kanata Crumbly, director of Joint Staff for the Georgia National Guard, says having an all-black team is powerful. Crumbly says he was the first black wing commander of the 116 Air Control Wing, so he understands the difficulty Lewis faces.
And you have to make sure that people know you belong here, right? And sometimes that's a delicate game, but it's a game that you have to play because no one works this hard to sit in the background.
In Warner Robins, Jatrissa Wooten, 41 NBC News.